This is the Rebel HR Podcast, the podcast about all things innovation in the people space. I'm Kyle Rode. Let's start the show. Welcome back, HR Rebels. We are continuing our podcasting here at the Iowa State SHRM Conference. With us, we have Grace Bowling, maybe the coolest last name at the conference. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it is. She is a HR specialist for IFP, and we are going to be talking about some exciting stuff today related to work-life balance and generational differences. Welcome to the podcast, Grace.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, we are excited to have you, and we are going to start this podcast by wishing you a happy HR professional.
Because evidently, so much.
That's what it is today.
All you HR professionals, you go get them.
Go get them, HR professionals.
We're killing it out there.
Killing it out there. It's also like National Cupcake Day and National, like pet a leprechaun day. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, so if you're having a really bad day as an HR professional, go get a cupcake.
Go get a cupcake. Yeah. Well, Grace, thank you for gracing us with your presence here on the podcast. Do you like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Dad joke going on there?
How often do you get that?
I don't. I get you're very graceful sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Grace was really excited to join us today, and I'm excited about this topic. She wanted to talk about work-life balance and kind of the generational difference related to the approach to work-life balance. But before we jump into that, I would like to understand a little bit more about your path. So what motivated you to get into human resources?
That's a really good question. I kind of fell into it. So I started in inside sales for IFP, which is a manufacturing company out of Cedar Rapids. We're half a distributor, half a manufacturer. We focus on hydraulics, electronics, pneumatics, automation, all that fun stuff. And so I started in inside sales because I knew somebody who had worked there. And I talk way too much to sit at a computer screen because that is what inside sales does. And so there was an opening for a recruiting coordinator under my boss currently. And so I decided to apply. And we love internal hires because, they know the culture. They know everybody that works there. And so I applied for the position and got it. And I've been in the HR role for the past year and a half. I just passed my SHRM certified professional test. So that's good. Just got that under my belt. Yeah, I'm happy to never study for the rest of my life. So that'll be fun. And so now I'm an HR specialist, so kind of getting into the insurance side of things, but I've been working mainly under the recruiting umbrella for the last year and a half.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
So with us, listeners, we have a real live Gen Zer. So
that you do.
And the reality is there's a lot of them in the workplace now. And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about here is that experience, that employee experience, right? And I think that certainly from my standpoint, we make a lot about generational differences in the workplace. We talk about it a lot. It's definitely like a hot topic. It sells, it kind of sells airtime. But I'm curious from your perspective, as you look at kind of the different generations working together in the workplace, do you notice a big difference between generations' approach to work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's this, stigma that, Gen Z people don't want to work, which, you come across Gen Zers that don't want to work. They just kind of want to have stuff handed to them. But, there is that portion of Gen Z that do want to work and they want to climb the corporate ladder. And I think a lot of people overlook that when they think of Gen Z. And so you're kind of just bundled into this category of Gen Z when you go into the workforce. And it's actually going to be 30% of the workforce is going to be Gen Z by 2025, which is a huge number. And so the baby boomers are kind of retiring and Gen Z is coming in. And with Gen Z, it's just so many new ideas and, new approaches and ways to do things through the workforce. And I think that they should be heard because I think a lot of companies are like, oh, we've done it this way. We're going to continue to do it this way. It's going to be like this for the next 20 years. And I don't think that Gen Z likes to take, no for an answer. So yeah, Gen Z is completely different than baby boomers or maybe even millennials. I think a lot of stuff is more flexible. I think remote work is becoming more and more common throughout workplaces just because of Gen Z. And I think mental health is a huge thing with Gen Z as well. And I like that it's coming to the front. Mental health is such a huge thing, and we're not really afraid to address it. So that's a huge thing.
Do you see Gen Z and Gen Zers in a place where they're trying to battle the stereotype of they don't want to be labeled Gen Z, just like we all kind of have a label on millennials? Millennials being promoted too fast. They want something for no effort, things of that nature. Do you see Gen Z not wanting to be a stereotype like that?
Not necessarily. I think, where Gen Z differs from millennials kind of want to get away from that title. But I think Gen Z is like, I'm a Gen Z and I'm loud and proud. This is how I am and this is how it's going to be. And I have all these ideas and I want to come work and all that. So, yeah.
Are you a millennial, Patrick?
I'm still X.
You're still X. You're the last year of X. So technically, I'm an elder millennial. That's what you would call me.
You're a couple years younger than me.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Are you like
or an exennial or whatever? Like I'm I'm in the middle.
That's a good one.
You're like a avocado toast millennial.
I like avocado toast.
Okay,
what does that mean? What does that mean? What is okay? Help me understand.
Avocado toast.
What's an avocado toast millennial? Like we just like avocado toast?
Like millennials are like obsessed with avocado toast. Like what's going on with that?
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, it tastes.
Just eat like guac and be done with it. Why do you have to put it on toast?
Well, but then you put an egg on top of it. It's better. I don't know.
I love that you said you like avocado toast.
I do like avocado toast.
That just proves my point right there.
That's good.
Okay, so what's the Gen Z version of avocado toast?
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about
Snapchat?
it.
I don't get
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah. TikTok.
Is Snapchat millennial too?
Maybe it's.
I don't know. You'd laugh at me. I'd be like,
Twitter is millennial.
Twitter is millennial.
Yeah, now that it's like X.
Now it's X. That's a millennial thing?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
That's
so for everybody out there that enjoys avocado toast, just know you are being stereotyped and reviled by Gen Z. I just want everybody to be aware of that. So now that we've got that out of the way,
so how does that relate to work-life balance?
Don't try to turn this into like a hard-hitting podcast. Now I'm like personally objectified because of my love of avocado.
I'm thinking of
avocado toast in MySpace. It's just
MySpace.
That's what it takes.
I know you had a MySpace, Patrick.
I might still do.
I'm sure I do, but I haven't used it.
Did you have your like top 3 songs and whatnot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tom was my friend.
Tom was everybody's friend.
Right now I'm thinking of avocado on pizza and on hot dogs and on like everything.
Yeah.
So my mind just went that way.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So now that we're completely off topic, a great place to have avocado toast is on vacation. So let's talk a little bit about work-life balance. Do you like that lead in? I did like that.
That was
I don't know. It was all I could do. It was all I could do.
Better than me.
All kidding aside. So, one of the things that I struggled with early in my career as a millennial in my workplace was primarily Gen X and baby boomers. They were the people in power. My approach was to essentially like try not to be a millennial. Like, I grew a beard. I tried to not act my age. And, I did that for about 10 years until I was in a point of like positional power that I didn't have to act that way. I don't think that's the most mentally healthy way to approach it. So I'm curious on your approach, as you're working with different generations that are in power, what's your approach in kind of embracing your Gen Z-ness in the workplace?
Yeah. So mental health, like I was talking about, is a really big thing for me. And so being in a position where, I kind of am in a leadership position at 23 years old, which is really, really weird because everybody else is, older than 30. And so a lot of those people, they work. And I love that they love to work. I really do. But I am a person who puts myself first when it comes to work. Not that I don't love my coworkers and I love my employees and I love my job, but I love the beach and I love drinks on the beach, right? So I think, talking with some of my coworkers that are, baby boomers or Gen X or even, those older millennials, they don't like to take vacation. And I understand, because when you take vacation, you're off and people are emailing you and you come back to 10,000 emails. I personally love that. I take my vacation. I only think about vacation and my personal life. I don't think about work. And I think it's just a really good reset. I come back, I'm refreshed. I don't feel burnt out. I have a better positive attitude and I spread that to others. I go through the shop every single morning and I'm like, good morning, good morning. And if that's something that I can do for myself, then why not take those days? So, the older generation, when they are like, oh no, I can't take a day off. I can't take my lunch because I have to work through my lunch. Like, go take your hour lunch, right? It's just 1 hour. They don't need you for that 1 hour. Somebody can cover you. But it's just hard to get through, because that generation was kind of brought up that way, that work is the most important thing and that they need to do it for the rest of their lives until they retire. And so I actually had an older coworker tell me, well, no, you need to save up in your 401k and retire with a lot of money and then you can go travel. But I think a lot of Gen Zers think, well, I want to go travel now when I'm young and I can go climb mountains and I can go sit on the beach and have fun and, go to the clubs or go to parties and whatnot. And so, benefits with retaining and retracting Gen Z employees and younger generation, they're not really looking for, benefits at the moment. They're looking for flexibility. They're looking for, what's your PTO? A lot of people are going to unlimited PTO, which is crazy to think about. And then just like the values of the company.
Yeah.
So that's a question that I had for you regarding your organization. You have more and more people coming into the workforce that want more flexibility, that have more PTO. When you're in manufacturing and some of these organizations that just don't have that ability to allow flex schedules and come and go as your day pleases, like how is your organization kind of adjusting to that generation coming in that wants those different things, because that's more important than just 401k?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our president actually added an extra week of PTO for everybody to use. And then a lot of different things, we like to say, if people are struggling to get their work done, well, let's hire more people. I want somebody to be able to cover your shift if you can't be there. I don't want you to have to stress and come back and be like, oh, I got to do, this and this and this that I didn't get done. As long as the older generation, is willing to train, I think that is the best thing that a company can do. Because, but some baby boomers and some Gen X are like, I just want to do my thing. I don't want to train people. Well, who's going to take over, right? We have to train the next generation and get them up to speed to be where we want them to be. And so, I think flexibility is a huge thing with us. We make it very known. We're a family-owned company. We've been in business for 52 years. We make it very known that, we care about our employees and we care about them and their mental health. And so, we take a lot of opinions from our employees. What can we do better? What can we do for you? And so being a Gen Z and recruiting Gen Z, it's so nice to have that say in HR of like what can help us recruit the younger generation. And like we talked about earlier, we actually added a speakeasy, not a speakeasy, we call it the cave in our building. Yeah.
Cave.
Yeah.
I think cave sounds creepier than speakeasy. Personally.
Well, it has a full-size night.
Like a bat cave, or
It's like a almost like a speakeasy, but you have to have your badge scans into to get a drink, but you can't get a drink until you're off work. So it's locked until after.
And everybody has this badge?
You can get a badge. Yeah, everybody has a badge for the speakeasy.
Are there certain positions that don't have the badge?
No.
Unless you're, what about under 21? Do they have a badge?
No. They cannot drink if you're under 21.
So there you
Put
go.
that on
So
the record.
for all your HR benefits packages, just add a speakeasy in the basement called the Cave, and that's going to get all your Gen Zers
I need to hear more
excited.
about this all.
Look at Patrick's like, I'm going to go work there. Yeah.
It's
This
pretty
guy's
cool.
like,
As
yeah.
Pac-Man, Buck Hunter, as a shuffleboard. It's awesome. Yeah. So we really, really, really like that work-life balance here at IFP.
There you go. Sounds good. Yeah. So it's really interesting. I think so, and I am certainly one that like I don't necessarily like take vacation in the true sense of the word. Like I still got my cell phone. I'm still checking email. I'm still kind of available. And when I'm not working, I'm still doing like some other type of work or side hustle or something like that. And I think that's very kind of common in the millennial generation, at least certainly in my age bracket. So what you're saying is, it's like, let's shut it off completely, right? Which is very, very different. So help me understand the kind of the benefits of taking that approach. Like, what do you find when you actually truly shut off for yourself and for others? What are the benefits of doing that?
Yeah, I just think it's a really good way to, reset and rebalance yourself through vacation. Even if it's, you're taking a couple of days off, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to the beach or the mountains or, you don't have to go out of town. Just lay on the couch for a couple of days, watch TV, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel good, where you're not consistently thinking about work and, the things that are stressors in your life. Sometimes as us HR professionals, we're consistently thinking about one thing all week. Like, I dread this meeting I have to go to on Monday. I dread this thing or this review I have coming up, right? So just a break away from that helps your mental health so much. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that. And I think, mental health is just a huge, like, hush word for the older generations. They don't want to talk about it. I'm a Gen Zer, and I think a lot of Gen Z go to therapy. And I think that's the best thing for you, honestly. It's not for everyone. I completely understand that. But I go to therapy, and it's just someone to talk to and help you through your problems. And it doesn't even, you don't even have to have a problem. You just can go talk to somebody.
Oh, we all got problems.
Yeah, right.
Now I got to unpack this avocado toasting. I will say you do have emotional intelligence, because instead of calling us all old, you use the term older than 30. So thank you for being emotionally intelligent. I'm sure that speaks to the years of therapy, so that you don't offend all of us.
I feel so wise now that I've been to some therapy sessions, because I will pull quotes that she said, and I'm like, did you like that one? Yeah, that's all me.
Nice.
That's all me.
Nice. All right, we got time for one more question, and I'm curious to hear your response. Where do you think HR professionals need to rebel?
Ooh, rebel. That's a good question. I think that they need to get out of their comfort zone. I think, I hate the word corporate. That's my least favorite word. Corporate America. I hate it.
Yeah, but we're here to help.
I'm on TikTok, obviously, as a Gen Zer. So there's always those corporate TikToks, and I just die at them. I laugh so hard because they're so stereotypical. I hate it.
Big old corporate man.
Yeah, exactly. The hierarchy, I want HR professionals to, kind of get out of that corporate routine. I want them to try something new, whether that's think of some new ideas for employee retention or employee engagement or onboarding or, insurance or health and fitness. And just kind of get out of their comfort zone and think of new ideas with changing, their everyday routine for their employees. So, yeah, bring some ideas to your boss.
I love it. That's what we're all about here. So yeah. I'm glad we could have you on the podcast.
Thank
Grace,
you so
where
much
can
for
people
having
connect
me.
with you and follow what you're doing?
Yeah, so IFP, we have a website. It's ifpusa.com. I am on LinkedIn, Grace Bowling. So just message me on there and reach out whenever you want to.
And TikTok, right?
And TikTok, yeah. G Bowling on TikTok.
G Bowling on TikTok. There you go. For all you Gen Z listeners, there you go.
Going on TikTok, download on Twitter, probably.
We actually have a TikTok.
Oh my gosh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get one
for... I haven't locked in 3 years.
You can find me on MySpace and AOL.
There you go. AIM. There we go. Khawk95, AIM. Find me. Hook it up. All right. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
All right. That does it for the Rebel HR podcast. Big thank you to our guests. Follow us on Facebook at Rebel HR Podcast, Twitter at Rebel HR Guy, or see our website at rebelhumanresources.com.
The views and opinions expressed by Rebel HR Podcast are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any of the organizations that we represent. No animals were harmed during the filming of this podcast.
Baby.